Hello and happy day of UBAM. So today I appropriately got to spend the day sharing books with kiddos at our Gifted and Talented district-wide event, and I had a booth there and sold lots of books that the kids and families were excited about. And I also had an opportunity to teach a creative writing class. And there's several reasons why this is really cool. Number one is that I did the class pretty much entirely using Usborne Kane Miller books. So I will share those so that you can maybe replicate some of the ideas at home or in your classroom. And then the other part that was pretty cool is that I'm not a teacher. I've worked with kids before, but I've never taught a writing class before. I've never really taught any kind of class. And UBAM has given me confidence and skills to try all kinds of amazing things, and teaching this class today to little aspiring writers and seeing them get excited about what they could put down on paper and their ideas was pretty amazing. So I am super grateful for this company for all of the opportunities, including today. So let me show you what I did. I started off the class with the Story Path book. This is a fantastic book for helping kids explore stories. So it starts off with once upon a time there lived, and I had kids raise their hand and they got to pick which one they wanted, if they wanted the queen or the astronaut monkey. And then there's some prompt questions in here. So what was the monkey's name? What did he look like? Where did he live? And then I could add in some of my own questions as well. And then what would they ride? And we went on for all of the different pages, and they get to put the whole story together, all together as a class with all of their ideas, and come up with a super fun story. And while we're doing this, they're using describing words and actions and smells and sounds and dialogue, all kinds of great components of writing a good story. Next, I talked about writing with descriptive words and showed them a thesaurus. So many kids might not even know what a thesaurus is, so we talk about that. I made a very simple sentence like, "It was a sunny day," and then asked them to describe a little bit more about the day. And by the time we got to the end, we had a whole story because we kept adding descriptive words and other things that were happening. You can use a picture to help with this. And ideally you would have maybe a thesaurus or a specific word list for each kid. What I love about our thesauruses, it's not just a list of words alphabetically, but they're categorized. So if you were doing stories on animals or on weather, a specific scene, you can use one of these pages in the books to do that. And we have the big picture thesaurus, and then we have not your everyday one as well. And then I used this, my very first writing book, and I talked about dialogue with the older kids, and I showed them, find the page. I showed them some dialogue bubbles and had them make up what they thought the creatures were saying. And then I talked about the parts of a story. So in here, and most of the kids in my class knew about beginning, middle, and end, but this has beginning and then a build up, so talking a little bit more about what the characters are doing, maybe describing the scenery or where they are a little bit more, the problem, the solution, and then the ending. And then I read a book to them and we talked those components. And then I had them break up into groups, and each table had a little writing prompt activity. This one actually did not come from one of our books, Roll a Story. Just found this on Pinterest and picked it out. So the kiddos would roll, and the first roll is a character, like a sad clown or a clumsy elephant or a zookeeper. And then the second one is a setting, so on a magic carpet, in a jelly bean factory, in outer space. And then the third one is a conflict. So it fights aliens, it gets lost, It's afraid of the dark. And then they could use that as a writing prompt to write their own story or even just tell their story out loud. I also found just a bunch of stickers that I had. If you have those story cubes, those work well. But I just found stickers I had in the house and put them on little cards and asked each kid to pull out of a brown paper bag 3 different story pieces of paper, and then they could write their story about that. So they have a smiling ice cream cone, an astronaut cat, and a puppy dog, and what kind of fun stories could they come up with. And they were super creative and came up with great ideas. And then finally, this was really popular and fun. I used our fortune tellers book. The beginning pages all have actual fortunes or ideas written on it, but the back has some blank pages. So I used some of the blank pages, and for the words, I wrote writing related words like pencils, writes, word, and story that all had different letters so that they could pick and choose what they wanted. And then it had the numbers already, so they could pick the number. And then on the inside, I had different prompts. So a new family moved in next door. The treehouse had a sign on it. The magician took out his wand. The turtle poked out his head. So those were kind of introductory sentences. And then this one had the necklace was magic. A wizard cast a spell. A superhero wore a purple cape. And these were more realistic ones, like one day I was walking in the woods. My dream house has. When I grow up, I will. So I will share those on here as well, the different prompts that I had, but you can find those online also. So that was my fun day of UBAM, and I wasn't able to participate in some of the fun things that were going on, but I had a fantastic day sharing the books with lots of kiddos, and I wanted to share my experience in case it might be something that you would enjoy doing with your kids. Thanks.